Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
While you're in sunny Florida, be sure to visit
WARlando! Enter into a world of epic adventure.
Hello and welcome to WARlando. This is Adam, and with us, as always, is
Nicholas.
Yes, and tonight we have a very special guest returning victorious from the Age of Sigmar tournament at the Nova Open, the one, the only, Mr. William Soehaili.
Woohoo! Hey, everyone.
Congratulations on your win.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's been days and night I can't sleep, and then finally I got it back.
Yes, after last year.
I know.
Was it a good feeling to return victorious?
Oh, it was definitely amazing. But I should tell you this one story though. I guess for people out there who's listening, I'm sorry, Chuck Morris, the TO, and what happened this year was when they told out who the winner was, I didn't win again.
Wait,
so,
what?
They messed up the pairings, and somehow I got into third place again, and so I almost didn't win again. So I'm really, really happy and excited. I finally get to win this event.
Yeah, what exactly happened?
So I think they messed up the overall score again. Because remember last year I was talking about the painting scores?
Yeah.
And this year I actually made sure that, like my list and my army was painted up to standard that they were looking for. And again, this year I also made sure I get maximum full points on my painting scores, my hobby events, my objective events. And I guess even after everything's maxed up, I guess one of the BCP pairings was messed up. And so I think someone else was becoming one of the first place. And after they give out all the prizes, after all the podiums, after they give out these are the people who win, and we all went up and we were like, how come you didn't win again this year? I have a lot of people messaging me on Facebook too, and did you seriously didn't win again? And I was like, yeah, I just didn't. So we all went to the TO and then we fixed it up, and then thank God I finally won.
Man, what's the deal? Like,
I know it was. Ooh.
Yeah. I guess I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how they can let something like that happen twice.
I'm not sure either. I guess well they're saying there's a technical difficulties with the Best Coast pairing or something like that.
Oh, they're actually using an app for it.
Yeah, they were using that, and even then that's like, I don't know. But they handle it pretty well.
Yeah.
And one thing that's totally different from last year was, at last year, I feel like they did it wrong, but they didn't change it. But this year, they actually listened to us and they make sure, all the stuff that's wrong, now it's changed. Because it sucks to win and not to get anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's there's a saying that I play basketball with some people here in town every week, and there's a saying that as you're playing basketball and there's a foul or somebody calls you carried the ball or double dribble or something like that, then they and if it's a bad call, the next play, if you get the ball back and score, or they say,
I know this phrase,
the ball doesn't lie.
Oh, I always heard game don't lie.
Okay. So they say, so what they say here is the ball don't lie.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just, that's what I wanted to say when I first heard you win. I was like, all right, William, the ball don't lie. Second time coming back for another win.
I know, right?
Back prove it to him.
Yeah. Well, I almost cried before I told you again because I thought I didn't win again. But
that's a lot to put you through.
Luckily,
and then,
they settle it for good.
Yeah,
it's no. All things aside, I think the TO did a really great event, and then they tried their best. It's just it's like people said, you got to remember that all those people are volunteers, and then they're doing it all out of their spare time. I don't want to talk them bad, but they did a great job. But it's just I guess there's always technical difficulties, but it's just it happened twice to me, so it's
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they listened.
It's a little bit personal.
Yeah, I'm glad they were willing to listen to you when you came back.
So what did you bring with you? What was your army?
So I brought Slaanesh, and I know a lot of people complain about it. I'm doing the whole bandwagon stuff, but this tournament was a no joke for me. So I literally legit I prepared this army, I think since when they open up the event. So it's like 4 or 5 months of preparation, I would say. One crazy stuff though, I did switch my army 3 weeks before the event. So technically I've been preparing for a couple months, but Slaanesh itself, that was essentially 3 weeks worth of painting and just a lot of grinding and all the other stuff. Because I guess I've been telling this to everyone. I've been practicing with Legion of Grief. That was the original army that I was trying to bring. I was trying to bring the old army that I was winning before, which is Nagash. But what happened was I keep getting smashed.
Oh no!
And luckily, I guess through practices, I realized it's like, oh man, I don't think I can win with this army. And then sad to say, I joined the bandwagon. I followed the Slaanesh lead.
So were these through like games that you were practicing with other people for tournament, like tournament practicing?
Yeah. So it's and this is funny because on the event I knew, like, this is one thing I like about Nova. If you actually want to prepare, you can prepare really, really well because they actually post at you every single details of the pack. So you actually know what mission you're going to play first round, second round, third round, fourth round, and 5th round. And then you even know what realms are you going to be playing. So it's essentially, I made a, like a strategy book for this list for the entire event, essentially. Because it's, it's exactly what you're playing. There's no uncertainty at all. The only thing that's not certain is what you're playing against. So on this one, I literally practice, 4-5+ game every mission with my friends, using the exact same mission they're using in Nova, and so I think that gives like a really competitive edge. It's like I like to joke around when they told me it's like, oh, what's the next mission? I told them, oh, I don't know. I mean, in fact, I already know what's the next mission, what's the mission for tomorrow and stuff like that. So it's I really think the preparation helps me out here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I might go beyond what typical players would do, but I would say this is an exception.
When you're going to your practice games, do you have a mindset? Are you like, do you have like a mental checklist of what you're looking for? Or is it just you're just feeling it out? This worked, this didn't work? Or do you go into a game thinking, I want to test this particular strategy or this particular combo?
I do. It was super intense that I actually tried almost every single army that I have. It's one of the, I guess, best practices of doing practice is that I want to know what my opponent does. So that's, I guess, I have almost all the armies in Sigmar. I'm a nerd, but that actually helps me out in knowing, what my opponent would do. So it's like just being able to know what your opponent's next step's going to be, like what their secret tech is. It helps me a lot, because it's just knowing what your opponent does. It's winning half the battle already. So that was what I'm basically aiming to practice for. Like, I think probably most of the important part is the deployment stuff. Those are one of the stuff that I'm practicing a lot. What are you prioritizing, to kill, or what are you trying to capture on the objectives and stuff like that? Those are the stuff that I practice.
Did the GHB 2019 and the new terrain rules and all the army-specific terrain, did that change the way you've played since last year?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Remember before they put in the whole FAQ where, Skavens are basically unplayable? You got to put in, I think it's 6 inch within the opponent or your deployment zone or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I think 6 inch away from the objectives. I like the changes. It makes terrain and objective placement more balanced. Back then you can literally put a terrain on top of an objective. Stuff like Sylvanad or stuff like the big boat that the Idonet were using. Essentially, you can block an entire army or block entire movement just by putting like big terrains on it, and then you basically cop off on that because you gain all the advantages by getting all the good stuff that you're going to get with the terrain, but then your opponents almost got nothing out of it. And I'm glad with all the changes they do. And of course, with big events, you actually do the the mystical all the special traits you're using, and I love it. It adds more, strategic to the game, and it gives the game more flavor.
So tell us about your list.
What I would like to say to people is, my list is probably not the best Slanesh list, but what I could agree upon it's that list is made specifically just for Nova. It's it's like all jokes aside, I literally built this list to compete in Nova, because when they tell you what the realm spells is, when they tell you all the spells you can abuse, what the missions you're going to be playing, those are the kind of win scenarios and win conditions that I did. So essentially, my list is simple. It's just like anyone else's, but a little bit of a tweak. I'm basically playing Slanesh with obviously the 3 big keepers. All those nasty, always strike first. Your opponent goes strike last. You can't really fight back. I brought the Contorted Epitome. Have you seen one of those? Those are like the glass-looking guy.
Yes.
I brought one of the Exalted Hero of Chaos. And those are basically my 5 heroes. I think those are one of the little difference that I did compared to everyone else's. I was bringing this, tiny little hero that no one uses, just because I need another, hero that guarantees that if all my heroes die, I can still summon up my keepers out of it. And then, I brought the battalion with just the Supreme Subrites, and it's the typical battalion everyone brought. Having that one extra Exalted Hero of Chaos actually helped me out during the event. And then, just like everyone else's, I brought the 30 Demonettes, 10 Demonettes, and 5 Hellstriders. So essentially, it's that. It's just, in a nutshell, I brought 3 Keepers and 30 Demonettes, and then that's basically my entire list. It's just dumb and stupid, but it's just Slanesh is broken. What can I say?
That's great. Were there any matchups you were worried about?
I think one of the matchups that I was worried about was Daughter of Cain. We should have had practice, man.
I know.
Daughters or Cains are one of the most, I guess, toughest matchup I ever had. And partially it's also because, the people who's going to be playing the Daughters are really competitive people that I know. And I did play him, and it was actually one of my toughest matchup. And he, like I said, he won. I think I played him on the final last year. He won, I think, have you heard about the GW Texas Grand Tournament on their headquarters, something like that? I think he won that one as well too. So he won a lot of events with Daughters, and he played specifically Daughters.
Second place, I think, right? I think I saw on the Best Coast pairings he was second place, right?
Yeah. Essentially, He was second place. His name was Chai, and it's funny how it's deja vu essentially. I play him last year with, I guess he's playing Daughters on the same mission and on the same round, which is on the final. So it's kind of deja vu, but I'm glad I prepared for it.
Have you been in touch with him? Do you know him outside of this, or just from Nova?
No. Actually, yeah, you're right. I know him just in Nova because I guess last year, since we played an intense battle, we ended up being friends, and then I chat with him, asking what's a good list and stuff like that. And I think really he's really good. Daughters of Cain players. So it's part of my list building was actually prepared so that I could beat him in the final if I actually play him in the final. And it's true, I end up playing him. and to be honest, that's one of the reasons why I switched from Legion of Grief, because I was thinking about it. It's like, man, so I know that on day 2 we're gonna play Total Conquest and Duality of Dead. And with Legion of Grief, I was just trying to figure out how do I win if I play Slanesh or Daughters, and there's just no way that I'm going to win with that army, and sadly to say, that's the reason why I switched army 3 weeks before, because I think with Slanesh I can win it easy. I got to make like stupid big mistakes just by default to lose the game, but with Legions I got to depend on the guy making mistakes. And even then, I got really good to actually win the game. So I was like, yeah, do I want to take my chances? It's like, nope, screw it. I'm going to take my shortest path to win this game. So that's when I choose Slanesh, essentially. It's to counter another Slanesh player and to make sure that I have a chance against Daughter, because otherwise I won't have any chance at all. It's just, there's too strong.
I've been thinking about it, too. I don't know Slanesh that well, but they've got that mechanic where as wounds are done, they get points. And it doesn't matter if it's your wounds or their wounds, right?
Yeah, it's
just like
it's crazy.
Yeah. So with Daughters, like my whole goal is to just do as many wounds as possible as quickly as I can. And Slanesh can benefit from that. So that makes me wonder. Like, I think a Daughters player has to be really picky about where they do their damage, and they can't just dive into the demonettes because it's just going to churn out those depravity points, right?
Yeah. And I agree. Well, I mean, you get depravity points only on the heroes, so you don't get it on the demonettes. But that's one of the other part. It's Slaanesh is so broken nowadays that this is what people make fun of you on the event. It's essentially at the end of the round, right? I summon typically on average more than 600 to 700 points of my army. So literally I'm almost playing a 2,700 point army when you're playing only a regular 2,000 point army. And you know, in one of those matchup, I summoned 2 keepers and 30 demonettes. I mean, that's almost double my army.
Yeah.
And it's that. It's I mean, I think the always strike last and always strike first, it's really good. It's still broken. I mean, on a 2+, you make your opponent go last, and they don't even get to fight back. I mean, that's still really powerful. But it's the combination of, you know, even after you kill them, they come back. It's really hard to fight against. It's like you know, it's you fight. I mean, if it's just the regular always strike first, I think Daughters are on pair with Slaanesh because, you know, I think Daughters does way more damage than Slaanesh. But if you add in, you know, like the summoning factor where, okay, I kill your keeper, but then I kill 20 more witch elves, but then after I kill them, I get to summon 30 more demonettes. No other army can recover from, you know, like such thing like that. It's just after you're beat up fighting and then you get them back for free, that's usually game over. And then that's usually how the game goes. You know, like I would sacrifice 1 or 2 keepers, kill like half of their army, you know, make them focusing on that keeper, and then I just summon 60 more demonettes, and you know, and then by then it's the game's over essentially because you have way more models, you have way more damage, and then their army's almost gone. So
you're making me like remember last year at Crucible, my last game was against Slaanesh, and I remember just grinding down all of these things that kept coming at me. I was playing card drawn overlords, and I'm just shooting, and then I can't get anywhere because I'm dwarves and I'm slow, and he had my ship trapped, you know, and
summon you in, it's hard.
And then you know, we're neck and neck, and then all of a sudden, here's 30 demonettes over here. You know, it was 20 here and 10 here, and he got two objectives. That's
the
and
hardest part. I agree. And if you think about it, it's so easy for the summoning points, I guess, for your opponents or Slaanesh people to get. I mean, if you think about it, right? I mean, it's a keeper's 14 wound. You times it by 2, that's 28. So essentially, if you kill a keeper without him doing anything, you're getting a 30 demonette back for free just by killing 2 keepers. And you know, killing 2 keepers are not easy. You know, you gotta focus your entire army if you're shooting to that 2 keepers. While, you know, the other keeper and 30 demonette wreck, you know, half of the other stuff. And so that's not even counting if he charges you first turn and you know, try to kill you. So even if you kill them, they're bringing him back. You know, they're killing a lot of stuff, and then they're bringing back 30 demonettes. It's just bananas. it's like it's crying out like, GW, do something about it.
But hey, I guess you got to win in order for them to notice, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Essentially, well, I mean, I think last year when I bought the 60 Grimgas, it kind of hits the whole Grimgas thing. You know, I'm really sad they went up. It's. I mean, I think they're broken, but not as broken as Slaanesh. I kind of miss my Nagash, so I literally tried to play my old army on the last year's Nova. It literally went up like almost 300 points. So it's like it went from like one of the best army. It's not even playable now.
The Daughters went up about that amount. Like what my exact list I played at Crucible last year is about 240 points higher than it was the previous GHB. So I've had to re-examine. So I'm curious. I'm going to look at. I'm going to have to look at Chai. That was his name. I'm going to have to look at his list.
Huh? Yeah, Chai Zola.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look. I'm curious to see what he brought with him. I have to get ready for Crucible right around the corner. Huh? Are you going?
So I actually know his list pretty well because his list is one of the lists that I actually learned. I'm sorry, Chai, if you're listening. I didn't say I didn't know about your list, but I actually do now.
Hey, you've read.
So his list was one, like one of the lists I actually prepared really well for. So his list was, it's interesting, like it's the meta shift from like, you're bringing 60 witch elves. I think it's 3 or 4 hack queen, and then Marathi, and you're bringing in those battalion, and you put in the Heartrenders and stuff like that.
Yeah,
literally, I think all the daughter player played almost the same list. I think they're all in the same group, but it's really good list. So he played 20 snakes, which is really strong. I didn't know how strong they are before I fight it. And he played, I think, 60 witch elves. And I think a lot of people switch the witch elves to Sisters of Slaughters, so that you can counter Slanesh with the whole, like it's even if you attack last, you're 6 inches away, they can attack you. Yeah. And now it's their turn, though they can just kill your keepers just with it. Mm-hmm. And I think he was playing the Cauldron of Blood with, is it Hack Queen, the one you can fight in the hero phase?
No, that's the Slaughter Queen.
Yeah, that's the Slaughter Queen. Yeah, so he brought that in, and then he literally killed all my keepers with it. Luckily, it was on a mission that I prepared really well, so I still got the win. But it's in any other mission, I don't think I would have done as good as that, because sometimes just so tanky. Man, that 4 up, 5 up, 5 up save, it's rough.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome.
Did you have any moments? Did you have any moments in Nova that were like noteworthy? Any specific moments that kind of made you sweat a little bit, or at what point did you know you were going to win, or what was anything like that?
Dude, it's sweaty. I think it's every game. I don't think any of my matchups are easy. It was hard. I literally, I think I played all the peoples in the top 8, and it was just, it's good though. I mean, you get to play, all the good players, and then, like no one can really tell. It's like, you play one of those lower bracket people and you get to win. But it's like, I think all my matchups is really, really hard. I can go over, some of them in quite details. On the first round, I was super surprised. I know maybe some people will read it on my battle reports, but I played a Nurgle guy. And I do know that last year, like their whole trick was when you hit them, you have to reroll all your 6 to hit and also to wound. So essentially, that kills off all my really good stuff, because with Slanesh, on hit rolls of 6, you get an extra attacks. And wound roll of 6, you get mortal wound. And, like the combo is usually, you get more hits and you get mortal wounds when you do 6s. But then, like rolling 6 are hard enough. Now I have to reroll it, and a lot of the 6s that I reroll, I didn't end up hitting, so that kills up my entire army. So essentially, what happened was when I played the Nurgle guy, I let him go first because it's like I have the option, and then it was knife to the heart. So it's essentially a mission where you have to kill one another. So I was gonna go, pretty much backwards. I wasn't gonna move anything at all. What truly caught me off guard was he charged me with this 40 Marauders. I don't even know about the unit, but it's. Those units are really, really weak. That they're 200 for 40 models. And what happened was he has so much debuff that that 40 Marauders essentially tank out my entire army for like 2 straight turns. And I thought I was going to lose that game. I was like, man, I came all the way prepared for all this. I'm going to lose first round. And it was it was a little depressing, but somehow I got the win. But that was a really close one. Because it was, I didn't expect that at all. Essentially, what his whole army does was, I have to reroll hit rolls of 6, reroll wound roll of 6, and then on top of that, he have his regular save, which is a 4 up, and they have a 5 up save, a 6 up, 6 up, 6 up, and a 6 up. So it's essentially like 5 different saves.
Oh man!
So I was like, oh god, how do I win?
I think that is a testament to this game being fairly well balanced. That you brought the newest filthiest thing, and you're one of the best players out there, and you're still like you really have to play well to get a win.
I 100% agree. I mean, I think people that say there's 3 top Slanesh player that was undefeated. I mean, I wouldn't say Slanesh is not broken, but I would say that all my games are super close. It's really like, had I not practiced any of the snares that I'm playing, I would have lost like easily in any of those top players. Like I said too, on round 2, I play against Changeos. It's the list that's been winning, since I don't know, the first GHB came out. It's one of the most broken lists you have as a Zinch. But now it's a totally different list. I play that list. And then so that's the reason why I understand the mechanics. I know what to do and stuff like that. And he ended up being second. And I think it's all the preparations that I did that helped me win on that one. And of course, you know, playing the most broken army helps you too. But it's I agree. The game is really balanced right now, except Slanesh. But you can essentially win with any army if you know how to play it and, you know, obviously win some dice rolls.
So what was your next game? That was Nurgle was round one.
Nurgle was round one. So second round, I play Joe Creer. He won last year's Adepticon with Zinch, so he was a really notable Zinch player. I always try to play him. I actually never get a chance to play him, but it was a crazy change. So one of the crazy story was I thought I won by round one, so he basically gave me round one, and I'm fully prepared against change shows because all you got to do, I guess, you got to kill all the pink horrors, because he was bringing a list with 8 different endless spells. So you know, like in order to summon all those endless spells, you got to have enough wizards. And he was banking on having, you know, because the pink horse are wizards, he was banking on summon the endless spells from the pinks. But I get to kill almost all his pinks first turn because I know how the list does. What I didn't find out was every time I killed the pink, he's getting 20 blue horror points. So literally, after I killed 50 horrors first turn, he summoned 60 back on the next turn. So I was like, oh God.
But
I didn't expect this at all.
Those are the blue horrors,
again,
right? So
it's super balanced that had he have a double turn, the game would be so much different. Literally, he could one-shot my keeper just by, you know, shooting 120 horrors and like do like a heck of magic on me, essentially, in that game. And it was fun.
That's great.
I think on the third round, did I play? Oh yeah, on the third round, I play against the KO list. And what's crazy about this one is it's literally, I would say it's not the worst matchup, but it's one of the worst matchup on this particular scenario. It was one of the prayers I say, you know, in the morning. It's like, please, round 3, we're playing. Please do not let me play any shooting army, because on this specific matchup on this round 3,
what scenario was it?
Flaming missiles. So what flaming missiles does is, everyone doesn't know, it's whenever you're shooting more than a 12-inch range, your opponent gets a -1, essentially Ren. So basically, all his Ren is -3, and I have no chance of saving it at all. And I don't know how I did it. I got really lucky. This game was super blurry. Somehow I won.
What scenario was it? What scenario?
So it was on. It's on shifting objectives, but the realm was an Akshi. So on that particular one that they choose, they added, you know, like this realmscape features, which is flaming missiles. You know, like, which is essentially, if you shoot anything more than 12-inch, you're getting an extra 1 Ren to get it. So it's broken and bananas to all shooting armies, because essentially now, you know, instead of just -1, you're -2, and then, you know, all his skyhooks are -3. So I have no chance of saving it at all. And I think I lucked out on that one.
Oh, man.
Hello, everyone. If you are enjoying the show and you want to help support us, please head over to teespring.com/stores/Warlando-2. That's where you can get Warlando t-shirts themed around your favorite Dungeons & Dragons character classes, as well as Grand Alliance t-shirts. And any shirts we sell in the month of September, all of our proceeds will be going towards helping victims of the hurricane in the Bahamas. Thanks a lot. Hope you're enjoying the show. We took a little break. We're back now, and this was game 3, and you were in Akshi, right? And you were worried about the potential rend if you had to face a shooting army. Did you end up facing a shooting army?
Yeah. It was a KO, literally a Caradon Overlord. It was one of my worst nightmares. So literally, this is what's fun about the game. It's like the game is so tactical that what I like about the best coast pairing is that when they say rounds are up, you can actually find your opponents and actually take a look at this list. So I remember going crazy in the group chat. I was like, oh my God, I'm still going to lose this game. It's like sorry guys, I'm gonna disappoint you because we're gonna play Karen Overlord on Flaming Missiles.
Oh my god!
It's I don't know. It's somehow I made it through, and then I won that round. I clearly didn't remember anything on that game. It was just because it was just it's Karen Overlord and Flaming Missile. It's like, what can I say?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So then on the second day, round 4, I guess we're playing Shaiish, and I guess if people don't know, Shaiish is the realm spells where you get all your characters to be ethereal. It's instead of playing the ghost, now I can cast all the spells and then make my keepers ethereal, which is bananas because they're already pretty strong. They heal. Now you don't do rend on them, and then that's what Shaiish does essentially. You buffed up all your heroes, and then you make them super strong and unkillable, and then you just stick with them for the whole game essentially. And then that's the reason why I picked Slaanesh too, because I know for sure that on day 2 all the missions are on Shaiish, and it's really Shaiish is such a mission where you just buffed up all your heroes. Even one of the command abilities for Shaiish was you can CP. And then you can kill as much dude as you want, which is all the demon 3 demon that I can get, and you can heal them back. And so it's almost unkillable essentially. Or what's even more broken is you can actually poke your own keeper, get a free depravity points, and keep healing him back. And essentially you can abuse it and then just keep on getting free depravity points by using a CP. so that's the reason why more of the reason why I play Slaanesh in this one.
I'm glad this game is teaching us how to be, well-rounded individuals and good for society.
In your list, did you bring any Did you bring any artifacts that weren't from the Slaanesh book?
I did. So I brought it from. I think it's actually so. 2 of my artifacts is actually Ignax Seals, which is the 4-up mortal wound save. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is a thermal rider cloak, and I think those are really one of the reason why I get my game super. I really get a good matchup just because of the item. Thermal rider cloak. If everyone didn't know it, it's a 4-inch movement and you're flying. So I think the reason why I put thermal rider cloak is for people who play Slaanesh, they this is a typical item they usually bring because the problem with Slaanesh is unlike the FECs, which is the terror guys on Zombie Dragon or stuff like that, and they're not flying. So there's so many stuff that you can actually block from your keeper. So now they're flying. You're so fast. You're moving 18 inches, and then you can actually pass through whatever. And that actually helps me with a lot of my games.
I really like the Thermal Rider Cloak. To put that on a big hero to give them that much extra movement and flight. Yeah, it's a great artifact.
It's bananas, and especially when you could, one of the shenanigans that people didn't realize is since you're flying, now you can also piling in flying, right? It's now instead of you're stuck because of this train was on the way, or you're stuck because this model is on the way. Now you can just move over to the model because you're flying. So that was one of the things that really helped me a lot. It's it's not big news for all the Slaanesh players because it's typically the item they always bring. But for other people that doesn't know, 18-inch movement, it's bananas because a lot of the deployments are set up within 18 inches, and the deployments that are set up within 24, it's basically saying that if I just move regularly, I only need a 5-inch or 6-inch charge. So it guarantees me a charge whenever I want it to be.
That is truly great. So
yeah. And one of my command trait is run and charge. And so one guy's moving 18-inch and he flies, the other dude's moving possibly 20 inches. And you can always spend a CP to make him move 20. So I always have 2 keepers that's guaranteed. Always strike first, charge first, and fight first. Essentially.
That command trait's for the whole army or just for the keeper?
So basically, this is how it breaks down, I guess. One keeper, which is moving 18 inches because of a thermal rider. Mm-hmm. The second keeper, which is usually my general, I give him the command trait that lets him run and charge. Mm-hmm. Right. So essentially, you can make him a 20-inch charge. Right.
Yeah.
The other keeper, usually, a support keeper. He keeps your back row, and then he fights usually on the second wave. But still, moving 14-inch. I mean, I'm +1 to charge. So on 18-inch, deployment, only the 3-inch to charge. And on 24, I only need a 9. So that's not that hard. And my Demonettes is also run in charge. So they move 6. If I give them a CP, they move 12. And again, they're +1 to charge. So it's essentially my combat units could fight you first turn if we were within 18 inch. And usually I let people go first. So I get a chance to fight back. And so essentially my whole army fights with everything on the first combat that I could have. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of, it's a little too powerful for, like a glass cannon army. Typically they're not that fast. And Slaanesh is an exception itself.
Well, definitely keep cashing in on it. Just be ready for the next thing when GHB 2020 comes out.
I probably will. I mean, to be honest, it's like I feel bad playing it, but if it's a big tournament, hey, I mean, it says some things about this, right? I mean, I don't know if you heard about the last event. People were complaining about this, how on the last big tournament, I think it's in England or something like that, there's a group of 100 people tournament or something like that. Top 5 is all Slaanesh. I mean, it's the army is broken where it's the exact same thing that win, back to back. And even on this one, on Nova, I mean, I gotta say it's a funny story. So I went undefeated. The other guy who's also playing Slaanesh, he's also undefeated. And surprisingly, there's another guy. I mean, I should tell you the story. He got DQ'd because I don't know what his name was. I mean, I hope he doesn't cheat, but according to what someone told me, he brought an unpainted model that I guess you're supposed to put all your models when you're being judged because they want to make sure they keep all the scores on power.
Yeah.
So he didn't put in the models that is supposed to be summoned. So what he had was a black unpainted chariot and a Hellstriders with 2 colors. And that's a no-no in this event, obviously, because every model has to be fully painted. You can't play, models with spray paint. And I guess on top of that, what I heard with him was, I guess he was summoning more than what he has on his depravity points. And a head judge happened to just be there and watch him plays. And so I guess essentially as he put all those, which is a no-no, like the unpainted models, he also put in more than what he has. So that, that's considered cheating. And literally he pulled up all his modeling. It's like, all right, you're disqualified. Had he, I guess he didn't do that, he's also about to win that game. So it would have been 3 undefeated Slaanesh on top 3. Right? I mean, that doesn't really happen unless the army is super broken. So
Yeah.
It's there, but it's I see how it is. It's the model's really cool though. I can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, they're beautiful. And so you said, how far out was it that you gave up Legion of Grief? How far out were you from Nova when you made that decision?
It was 3 weeks before.
3 weeks.
I gotta say, I planned out their army, I think more than 4 months. Essentially, when I bought that ticket, I was, obviously I was planning on winning because I really want to win badly. But the first army that I thought was Legion of Grief. I even want to bring that in Crucible. Everyone didn't know Crucible is a big WARlando event that we have every year, and then it's always fun. But that was the army that I was going to bring. And then I repainted everything. I make sure I base everything. I follow all the codes. I try to, do a little bit of conversion all the way. And then, 3 weeks before, I was like, I really want this, and I really want to win this event. But it's like I don't think I can win with Legion of Grief at all. So I basically built the army from scratch. It was nuts, but I guess it's worth it.
How much of the army did you already have when you made the decision?
So I have almost everything. I'm like people say, I'm an army hoarder. So I have almost everything, but they were still in boxes. So it was a lot of effort and work that I put in to actually build it like on time. Like literally, I remember on I think on the last couple of hours before I flew out, I was still painting. Literally, it's like, oh my god, I haven't finished this. I need to base this so that I get the maximum score. It was crazy. And let alone I was trying to make, like different strategies because, like I said, I made a whole strategy book on what I'm most supposed to deploy against this unit, against that army, on different scenarios as well too. So that's 5 different missions times, 4 or 5 different opponents that I could possibly play on Legion of Grief. and then I have to redo everything when I switch my army. But yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty challenging, but it's at the end of the day, at least I got a fully painted army.
Yeah, no, that's great. Did you have time to play test it before you left?
I did. So I didn't obviously play test it as much, but I think that last 3 weeks, as I was painting, I think I played 2+ game on every mission. So that's still a pretty good 20 games of practice, which I didn't even do on the last Nova. So it's just by practicing, it was just like a different preparation that I did on this one. I literally want to win this one.
That's really impressive. So you fully assembled and painted the army in 3 weeks, and you were able to get 20 practice games in that 3 weeks.
I know. Well, like I said to everyone, I'm single. I have no life. That's the only thing I do. And then, I just go home after work. I paint, I think it's straight up 4 or 5 hours every day. And then I add in that game. I was sleeping like midnight every day so I could get my games on and still paint. It was I also want to tell people I suck at assembling. So I spend as much time assembling the dudes and as well painting them. It took me forever to build all those demonettes. So it was rough because I think I was painting 90 demonettes on that one. So it was, man, I don't even want to think about it.
Do you
yeah.
do you have anything that you like to do while you paint? Do you like watch TV?
I do.
Do you listen to music, listen to audiobook or anything like that?
So I tried doing audiobook, but it's just I can't fully concentrate while doing audiobook. So I did listen to podcasts. I don't know what's the difference in audiobook and podcast, obviously, but just for some reason, podcast is easier to listen than audiobook. So I listen to all your podcasts. So it's been great. I love it. Thanks for having it. It helps me out. It takes away 10 hours of painting and stuff like that. One other funny part. I watch anime while I was painting. I don't even know how that worked because it's in Japanese. It's I guess I was just listening in the background, and then it's every couple seconds I would read some of the subtitles and then just imagine in my head. It was just fun stuff like that, and then music really helps. Sometimes I talk with people. I talk with my mom or whatever it is. I talk with my relatives back in Indonesia, and it's just a bunch of stuff. It's I think that's actually what makes it a little bit more fun, because if it's just pure painting, that's like 40 hours a week for painting. Or no, probably 5, 7, 20, 30 hours a week of painting without doing anything. I would just, die of boredom.
Yeah.
It's, I call a lot of people during the process, and it helps me out.
So Crucible, we're excited about Crucible. We're both going to play in the tournament, and we're excited to see you guys. Yeah, we're not sweating playing you at all. It's going to be, just get ready for the loss right there. Just count on those two L's in your books. No, I mean, it's, like I said, every game is a rough matchup. So had I get not a double turn that round, or had the guy roll a little better, that would be a totally different game. It's I really think the game is super balanced. It's like. So I get to I don't comment in the Space Force chat group you have going, but I do read through there every once in a while. Do you have anything you want to say to your Space Force? Well, go Space Force. It's one of our local groups in Florida, and. It's obviously Space Force, and I think part of the joke was, it's a little bit of making fun of me. It's a little political, but not really. It's the whole thing with, I don't know if you know about the story, but the whole thing with Space Force was because, I'm Indonesian, and I was on the verge of getting deported. Oh no! So one of the joke they put in, it's like, why don't you enlist as a Space Force, or maybe get married to another Space Force? So maybe by then you can become a full citizen. but I love it. The group's really fun, and it's to all the people that in Orlando looking for a group of people who want to play Age of Sigmar. Our group is really open, and we like to help one another, and we're always looking for great games. And because for the longest time,
we've been trying to find, like a community to play, I guess, every week. Before it was getting really hard to find a game, especially with the amount of people playing Sigmar. But, as we get more people, after the second GHB came out, and after the Space War was created, we finally find a community. So we typically, we're happy to say, we typically play it on Wednesday in our Space Force base. we call it mini duels. Nice. But sometimes we play in campus card game, sometimes a Coliseum and stuff like that. So we move around. But it's all about the community. That's what I really like about the game. It's the people that I really enjoy playing with.
It's a really exciting time for Central Florida right now because the 40K winner is also a Central Florida Orlando player.
Yeah, that's really awesome too. It's like, the level of camaraderie when he saw them. It's like because obviously the Age of Sigmar finished faster than the 40K. So as I was just moving around, it's like I saw there's a lot of people that was so familiar for me because I used to go to school at Gainesville, and I used to visit one of the local hobby shops down there, and I noticed one of them. It's like, hey, were you that guy from Gainesville? It's like, yeah. And then I asked him, it's like, what are you guys watching? It's like, oh, we're watching our group, which is the Brohammer, and as you all know, I mean, they win a lot of events, and I think they also win ATC. They win a couple of events, and I guess this guy, I actually never met him, but I know a lot of the people in, I guess, Space Force. they play him in a 40K matchup. And I guess he's well known, and then it's good to say he won it too. So we're happy to bring two of the major events that's happening there, which is the Sigmar and 40K. Both from Orlando, Florida. It's despite us being so far away on the southern coast, we managed to grab all the big prizes.
Yep, you look at the map, we're just down in the dangle.
I know we're trapped.
Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't. Bands and stuff, they'll skip it on the tour because it's just that extra dip. They don't want to drive down just to go to one or two towns and come back up. It's just not worth the trip for them. But I feel like we could get international players. If we coordinate, we could get some international players here and just say, yeah, bring your family, and then send them to the theme parks and just play games with us while they're at the theme park. That's an excuse to come to Florida.
No, that's a brilliant idea. I mean, literally, no joke. I guess one of the biggest event that international players actually came, from what I heard, was Adepticon and LVO. I'd never been to Adepticon, but I remember we talked about this last year. During the LVO, I met a couple of British players, and then they're winning a lot of events, and then those are actually the events that they actually would go every year. And I did tell them that it's like hey, Las Vegas isn't really family friendly. When we have a small little kids, you can't really bring them gambling. But if you go to Orlando, you can play all around, play with the hobby plastic rack, and then your little kids, your loved ones, got to go to Disney.
Yeah.
And they didn't say it's a really great idea. But I think the problem is, again, with the locals, because it's in DC you get so much traction because all the people from the northern part, the southern part, they can all drive to DC, and it's really centralized for everyone.
Yeah.
Whereas in Florida, I think you're only getting some of the Tennessee folks, some of the Georgia folks, and we're kind of trapping, like you said, in the bottom. But it's growing, so hopefully we'll get some more people in the future, and then we'll get a bigger community.
I think I might start like a tour group. I might have my get your theme park tours for while you're playing. I'll just be like a concierge for your family. So you come down for the tournament, fly from all over the world, and I'll take your family to the park so you can enjoy games the whole weekend. And not have to hear it from them afterwards. That sounds like an
amazing idea.
Yeah, that's great.
It's a new business opportunity.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Yeah, you should talk that to the what is it? Whoever the people who's managing Crucible.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think they're going to be on the show in probably next week or the week after. I'm really excited to talk to them about it.
Tim and Craig?
Yeah. We're going to have a few people on to talk about everything that's going to happen at Crucible, including role playing at Crucible too. They're expanding their role playing games and trying to do more there. So maybe if we keep at it 5 years from now, maybe Crucible could be as big as LVO or Nova. if we work on it and we keep that in our back pocket to like send your kids to the theme park while we're while you're
right.
playing, because it is right there.
No,
It's like you can walk.
That's a really great idea. I think what amazes me the most is, unlike any other event, like LVO, Adepticon, and Nova, these people actually, they're doing this part time. Whereas, correct me if I'm wrong. From what I understand, all the other events, this is their full time job. This is their stuff they do. They plan out a year before. Well, as in Crucible, it's it started with just a group of buddies who want to just have some good time, and they all meet up, and then that's what Crucible was for. And then I was really amazed by the amount of effort and the amount of results they're getting in with just two people working as a part time, getting a lot of volunteers to help them out with such minimal effort. I know a lot of the other events spend thousands and thousands of dollars doing marketing and stuff like that to make people come in. And I know, with Crucible, a lot of them are word of mouth. And then even then we're getting a lot of people and a lot of attractions in the Florida people.
Yeah.
And I'm excited.
Yeah, agreed. Very excited here too. I think it's growing, and I'm gone for the past 3 years now, and
Yep.
yeah,
We're excited.
yeah, loving it. Excited. I think you're gonna see number 1, Daughter's a Cain player, number 2, KO player, and then maybe if you work hard, maybe the Slanesh player will come in third. Are you gonna bring Slanesh? Can you confirm? Are you gonna bring Slanesh?
Well, I'm sorry to say, I actually have a daughter's army, so I might try to beat you with my daughter's.
What? Oh no!
Watch out.
Are you really gonna bring daughters?
Well, I just finally finished painting them up. I know I'm a nerd.
Don't step on my
Ever
toes.
since I played that guy, I was like, oh my god, this army's so much fun, and it's like I have him for like the longest time in my box. I was just not motivated to paint 80 sister slaughters.
Oh man,
20
no,
more snakes.
Bring Legion of Grief. Bring KO. I don't care. Don't bring daughters. That's my thing, man. Don't
Gonna snatch it up.
don't step in front of my girls.
I think you're the only daughters playing in Florida, right? I think I know Mara played daughters, but I don't think she played anymore. But so you might be the only one, so I might be your competitor.
No, don't do that.
Taking the mantle before it's even given to you.
Yeah, man, I was gonna come out like at least. Hey, at Crucible, at least I might have finished last, but I was the top daughters player. No, I can't even say that.
Yeah.
Never mind. So what about Nick? Are you gonna play Kieran Overlord this year, or I haven't seen you for a while either?
Yeah, I've been working on a Legions of Sacrament army, only because I have them, not because they're particularly competitive, but I just feel like when I go to Crucible now for the last few years, like nobody's playing KO. And I feel like I got to represent, like if I don't bring KO, then nobody's going to play KO. And I feel like KO are due for some sort of win.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I know a couple people who have KO, but I don't think they're coming. So you might be the only one. Yeah, maybe you should bring KO.
Correct. I know some people. Yeah, there are a few people there that do have KO, but they didn't bring them. They were playing like their Nurgle army or their whatever it might be.
I have KO, so
yeah, and I'm sure you've got KO.
I do.
You should put together a mixed order list that's KO and daughters. And just to show us both up. Yeah, just to spite us both.
Hey, funny story though. On the 4th round, I guess I never told you about the 4th round story. But I thought I was gonna lose that too because I was playing a KO mixed with Idanet. So that was it was that it's like what the hell moment am I playing? It was I know the guy. He was obviously he topped a lot of events. I think he got second on LVO on this year's LVO. So I was like, oh god, I know this guy. And then he always plays Idanet. And then his list was really funky. And it's like, it's like at that moment where it's like, oh shit, what do I do against that list? So his list was essentially, it's 30 Arcanauts, obviously the shooting, like the really strong shooting portion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he brought, I think 15 eels. So that kind of threw me off guard. I was like, oh shit. So you're telling me he can kill a keeper by shooting, and then he can charge my keeper without even hitting it, and then zap him with the mortal wound. And at that point, I was like, "Oh God, how do I win this?"
So how'd the actual matchup
maybe
go?
I should do that. Maybe I should mix daughters and KO.
Yeah.
Did it mesh well? What do you think of how his army played?
So that one, you got to say, I got lucky. I got a double turn on that one, and that really like kind of ruins the game. It's really literally it's that double turn. Essentially, what I did was he deployed really conservatively. He understands my army like really well. So it's funny how we're basically like 18-inch away from the deployment, but the way he deployed, we're essentially like 30-inch away. So he's making sure that I can't charge them first turn.
Yeah.
Or even if I get a double, it's still really hard for me to charge. And so what ended up happening was, like I let him go first, and then he deployed so far. I run my demonettes all the way to the middle of the board. And again, it's because of Shaish. So the demonettes was mega buffed up. So even if you try to shoot the demonettes, you won't kill them, because now the demonettes -1 to hit, demonettes ethereal, demonettes +1 to hit, and it's all those buff that you don't really get if you're not playing Shaish. And then I got a double. So essentially that double kills all the, what is it called? Arco on the second turn. And then by then the game's kind of over, because without the shooting, just by eels, I can deal with the eels, because if it's combat, then I'm okay. If it's combat and shooting, it was pretty tough for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I lucked out on that one. It's that double turn, man.
It does,
This
like,
is awesome.
I can't tell you how many games have come down to it.
Yeah. And you said something a little while back about another army you were playing, and it was kind of like, like if one thing went wrong, then it all would have fallen apart. And I feel like with my KO, like I have a lot of fun playing with them, because I'm such a dwarf player, and like I love the dwarves, and so I keep coming back with KO, but every game is always I gotta play everything right. KO is like, I feel like everything's got to be played right, and I hope that my opponent does something wrong, and if they do, then I can maximize a win. But if they play everything right and I play everything right, then it's just like, it's probably in their favor, and if they get a double turn, then it's over.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I switched from Legion of Grief. I mean, I this is what I was trying to emphasize. It's like at one point there's a difference between a broken army and a tier 1 army and a tier 2 army. with the Legion of Grief, it took me, I got a +1 to hit, I got a +1 attack, I got a reroll once to hit, I got to do this, I got to do that to kill like one single damn keeper. Right? I mean, I got to do everything correctly in order even to get that point. And like I literally can't screw it up at all, because if I screwed up just one mistake, they'll lose me the game. But then with the keepers, it's like I do notice that I screwed up a couple times, and it still didn't matter, because the keeper was so powerful that even if he dies, he's summoning another keeper. So essentially 2 keepers, 1 keeper to summon, or 30 demonettes. And so like the margin of error you're getting while playing Broken Army, it's more forgiving compared to playing, like really, really. That's why I give kudos to all the players who actually like Joe, who got second as a change host. Those armies really hard to play. Chai, I mean, he's playing the daughters, and like every other army, I mean, they're playing really, really well to get there. And that's, I think, by captivating your opponent's mistake, it's a good strategy. But then again, this was the same, I guess, thought that I was thinking when I was practicing. It's like, okay, I'm going to play really well, and my opponent's going to play really well too. And at top tables where I guess you're trying to win the game, you're probably going to be playing the player who have the same skills with you or even better than you. So captivating on their mistake, it's rough, because it's that doesn't happen sometimes. So that's why I picked Slanesh. Yeah. And I think one of the other part what I picked Slanesh was on the last mission. It's one of my secret strategy that I thought that I made up during my practice. It was completely awesome. It's literally I'll spill out too, basically. So I don't know if you guys played Duality of Death yet.
I think so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So on this new Duality of Death mission, they changed it in a way that you have to split your army half, essentially. Like back in the days, like the old GHB, you can deploy in the center and essentially, put all your army in the center and then, react whatever your opponent does, because as you put them in the center, you can go either left or right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But now the scenario is so far away, and the way you're deploying are also separated too. So you're essentially separated 24 inches apart from your army. You have 2 deployment zones, which is 24 inches away, and there's no way for you to to be able to split your army half and try to match your opponent. And I guess I found a really good tactic on this one, because essentially, since Lanesh have a really low drop, I get to be able to choose who's going first. And I think one of the best strategy I ever made on this one, I guess, is I tricked my opponent to deploy at least a quarter or a third of his army in one side. And then essentially what I did was I didn't deploy anything on one side. I deploy singly just one side.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened was I fight either 2/3 of his army or half his army with my entire army. And then, by just being able to choose to go first, that means that I'm getting 2 objectives round 1, and I'm guaranteed to control the other objective that I'm putting my whole army in, because obviously Sanesh is really good in combat. There's no way that I'm going to lose to you if I'm playing a 2/3 or half of your army, and that's the reason why I picked Sanesh. Essentially, I was able to to do that only with Sanesh. With Legion of Grief, I wouldn't be able to do that either, because when my army split, now my whole army just crumbles away. While in Slanesh, I can trick my opponent, to summon half of his unit besides the board, and actually still win the game without actually doing anything, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, last year at Crucible, this was obviously the last GHB for Duality of Death, but we played that at Crucible, and I was playing a Night Haunt army. And so KO versus Night Haunt, they don't take any rend.
Yeah.
And so I essentially said, I'm going to not go for a major victory. I'm just going to go for a minor. I'm just going to control 1 and never lose it, and control it before he does. Mm-hmm. And then hopefully, and then maybe if I get enough time, I'll swing over and try to take him off of his before the end of the game. I didn't. But I got away with a minor victory because I just held that 1. I think I parked, because of the rules at the time, you could park a behemoth on it or something like that, and I was able to park my ironclad.
Big balloon, right?
Yeah. And so that thing just stayed there the whole game, and I think I sniped Reichner like the first turn, and then just continued to drop shells and shells of bullets into all of his people. And so I squeaked away. The guy was so frustrated. He was so pissed because I think he was.
You know what's funny though?
Yeah.
He's in our group, so he told me about that game exactly after he got loose.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does it. I think it's Trevor, right? I think you play against Trevor. I remember he told me about the story, and he was like, "Oh my god, this happened to me," and then I just listened to Cain on Duality of Death, and he was, I remember that day.
Yeah. So
you did great, though. I mean, that you did the perfect scenario to win it, and then that there's some objectives that that you can't win it, and it's just getting a minor victory is a victory. That's better than losing your entire points, and so that's obviously a better choice.
Well, I'm really looking forward to getting some games in with you soon. And it sounds like Wednesday night's the night for Space Force at Mini Duels, right?
Mini Duels, yeah, or usually, I mean, Paul sometimes go out for an event or something like that. We would, go to Campus Card Games, and because they open up really late. I know you guys go there as well too on Wednesday, I heard.
Yeah. They're doing a little meeting engagement thing on Saturday. So we're probably going to show up there. 1,000-point awesome. Game. Little, I think it's a 3-game tournament for store credit.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think about the meeting engagement? I haven't played it, but I
haven't played it yet either. This will be the first time. Yeah, I'm looking. It seems like a little fun. 1,000 points. 3, your spearhead, your main body, and your rear guard, and it sounds like a fun way to play a quick game.
I agree. And it gets you to bring different units as well too. It's like it's you're not abusing. This is the one that you can't bring the same unit twice, right, or something like that. That's meaning engagement.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think I'm just gonna bring like Marathi. Just that.
Can you bring Marathi?
I think so. She fits in the list. She's 480 points. So I don't know.
Oh, way to go, Adam. It's supposed to be a fun game.
It's supposed to be a fun game. No,
Yeah, right. Make everybody cry.
I know. It ruined the game there. What about Warcry? Did you guys play Warcry yet? I love the game. It's been pretty fun.
Oh, you like it? Okay, good. Then we've been playing a lot of skirmish. Just using the skirmish rules. Haven't gone out to get Warcry yet, but yeah, if it plays like skirmish plays, it looks like it's fun. I think I'm probably going to give it a try soon.
It's a little different, I would say, than skirmish, but it's just a whole different kind of like game, I guess. That's what's fun about it. And you can finish it within 30 minutes. And, it's, I guess essentially it's like Warhammer. It's just, there's another strategy behind it. I think skirmish is more narrative-ish.
Yeah.
These are meant to be more, you can actually go competitive. I guess, honestly, you actually do deck builds and you actually could do this and that and that. You capture objective. It gets pretty, I guess, competitive, but it's a quick game. I like it. I mean, it's the fact that you can finish a game within 30, 40 minutes and you can get 2-3 games per day and stuff like that. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. I'm gonna.
No. Yeah. The moment they released the card, I was like, oh my god, actually I have everything. So I ended up buying all the cards. I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do with this?
Well, I think for right now, it sounds like CCG2 has a Warcry night also on Wednesdays.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Yeah. So if you're not mini duels, head to CCG2 if you want to play some Warcry.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. I would say a lot of the people in mini duels are playing Warcry too on Wednesday night. I guess I gotta be honest. I'm probably the only one who's also always forcing to play Age of Sigmar because I was trying to get my games in for my practice before the tournament. You
gotta practice for the tournament. The ETC, the European Team Championship, is a really big deal, and that was recent as well. What would you think would take to make an Orlando Team Championship game?
Ooh, you mean to bring Orlando to be part of the team, or you mean like actually?
Well, first off, to have like an Orlando Team Championship, like just have like 5-man teams. Like we would have to have at least like, I don't know, 5 teams. Do you think you could, like, we could work together? We could get 5 teams, like each store has its own team.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. Yeah. I mean, so you're talking about like the the ATC does that too, the American Team Championship. Yeah.
I would like to do the same thing, but like an Orlando Team Championship.
OTC.
The OTC.
OTC, that would be fun. Yeah, I would be excited. Yeah. It's just different. I mean, it's just, we can call it Space Force versus WARlando.
I was thinking like this.
That works too. I mean, different gaming clubs. It's whoever
like
want to team
Coliseum,
up. That'll be fun. I've been always wanting to try like all those kind of team stuff, because it's if you heard some of the stuff that they do, whether the captain actually pairs up who plays who and stuff like that, and then they do like a dice roll. They didn't know who they're gonna play, and so they're trying to match up. Like different positions they're gonna match up or something like that. That sounds really fun. I really want to try it out.
Yeah, it'd be fun to try and do, and then maybe we get to a point 10 years from now where there's like the American Team Championship is represented by like, one team from each state, something like that.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun too. Yeah. Right now, I guess I knew a lot of the players from it because I play them on a lot of the events, and then they're all scattered. I think Bill is right in the Midwest. I think he's in Michigan. Joe is in California. I think 2 other guys in California or something like that. Yeah, they're all separated, but it'll be fun if we could have it per state, and then we'll do like you say, like the actual American Team Championship per state. That'll be really, really cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be amazing. I mean, because they do the European Team Championship, and they're coming from all these different countries. Like we can, bring people from all over this continent. There's
yeah, I agree.
I listen to Can Hammer a lot, and they talk Age of Sigmar. Love to get some rivalry going throughout the whole continent.
Mm-hmm. And I love it. And I guess one thing they got to do is probably to track more interest is probably to have, people like you who actually does all this kind of stuff, like the podcast, the interviews or the other stuff that I guess actually tell the people what's going on. And we all really enjoy it. That's a lot of the competitive players. I know a lot of people who just likes to hear battle reports or just interviews when they're painting. So I think the more engagement you have, like more traction is going to bring and stuff like that. And I'm excited. I hope someone will actually have the time to do it, and we can actually all participate on it. And it'll be really fun.
That's exactly what we want to do. We want to build up the Central Florida community. There's been more than a couple times that I've walked into places like Sci-Fi City or Coliseum and just been shopping. I've heard people asking at the counter, does anybody play Age of Sigmar? Is there anywhere I can go to play Age of Sigmar? When do you play Age of Sigmar? And
yeah.
This is our way to try and let's get everybody together. Let's let everybody know that there's games happening. When to go to mini duels, when to go to CCG2, how to get a hold of people. We've got the WARlando Facebook page, and anybody that wants to message us, we can redirect people to CCG2. And that gaming group, and then the Coliseum of Comics miniature gaming group. But we have so many people, talented people, and exciting, fun people that want to play. Let's build that community. Play some games.
Yeah, and I love it. Yeah, thanks for that. By the way, it's been growing lately, and then it takes people like you guys, to really dedicate your time doing all this, fun podcasts, fun battle reports, and actually telling people it's where we play and all stuff like that. Because I remember back in the days, we used to have a good solid amount of people, and there's a guy from England. I guess his name is Max. He's retired, but basically all he does is when he's retired, he play Warhammer. So he would sit down on a Thursday, and I guess essentially he was becoming a symbol of our Sigmar group.
Oh yeah,
it's funny to say, but he's actually the one who's actually. We play Age of Sigmar on Thursday on Warhammer Winter Park, and then we actually build a community out of it.
Yeah.
And sadly, I guess when he left, we kind of lost that guy who's always there,
the anchor,
who's always giving all the intros and telling the people how to play and stuff like that.
I think he was a daughter.
We're growing it back.
I think he was a Daughters of Cain player, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, you remember? He was playing Dark Elves.
Or Dark Elves, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. So you do remember? Did you met him before?
Well, the first year that Adam and I played, was that the first year that we played?
We did the team.
We did the team tournament at Crucible, and we played. We played the Winter Park Warhammer team, which was him
and Jason.
Oh, I remember. Okay.
Yeah, and they were playing Fire Slayers and like a Darkling Covens list. And we were playing.
He's playing with Jason. I remember that. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep. I think we were playing Daughters of Cain.
Yep.
And Ironwell Dispossessed, kind of.
Yeah. That's fun.
So.
Yeah, it was a fun matchup too because it was elves and dwarves versus elves and dwarves.
Yeah, you're right. It was like a catacorner thing too. The way we
I remember
deployed.
him telling me that story. Actually, it's like I play a guy. I was like, oh, that was you.
Yep,
that's funny actually.
Yeah, that's when I painfully learned that you could.
Ago? I think 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah, that was 3 years ago.
Yeah,
will it be 4 years at this next Crucible?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I think I was playing Fire Slayers that year. Oh, I forgot.
So I have a game set up for tomorrow. I'm going to do a battle report with Chris. And so we're going to play at Sci-Fi. And I think he's bringing his Khorne army. I was going to try to finish my Legion's army. I don't know if I'll have them finished painted by then. I got a little bit left to do. So I might be bringing my KO. You got any tips for me against Chris? You got any
Oh man, I would say he's one of the reason why I become better at Warhammer. He's one of the most formidable players. He crushed a lot of my lists.
Okay.
Also one thing, he probably wants to hear this, but He was the reason why I switched from Legion of Grief to Slanesh.
He was?
So, yeah, literally, we played on one of the Carnage event, and if anyone doesn't know what Carnage is, it's one of the Crucible qualifiers. So if you win Carnage, you get a free ticket to Crucible.
Uh-huh.
And I think it was finals, so it was me playing with him, and I felt like I did everything correctly, and then I didn't do any mistakes. And I still lost that game. I tried all my best, and I felt like I'm always on the losing seat. It's just I have to wait for him to make mistakes. And then at that point, I was like, man, I'm so stupid. Why do I play this list? Then, after I lost that game, I switched to Slanesh. And, it's right after I switched to Slanesh, I played Chris again. Hey, Chris, why don't we play the same army? But I'm playing Slanesh nowadays. And again, it's literally with Slanesh, I felt like I'm always in the winning seat. It takes my mistakes for me to lose the game. And every time I got a double turn, it's almost guaranteed that I win the game. So at that point, I was like, oh, holy shit, I guess I've been playing the wrong army.
You make it sound like, I'm playing Slanesh nowadays. You make it sound like it's been years. Like, I used to. That was like,
back 3 weeks, right?
Well, back then. Yeah. 2 days ago, I was playing Griefs, but now I'm playing Slanesh. So.
Way back then.
Yep. Way back then, which is like a month ago, actually.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it was about a month and a half ago.
But you've, 20 games ago with your.
Yeah, I mean, it's the army's not super complicated, I would say. I mean, it's not like KOs or daughters where you have a lot of moving parts with different stuff. It's just, you come and go, smash, you win.
Yep.
That's what the army's about. But I love Chris's army. His army's beautifully painted. He's probably one of the best players I've ever played. And then, you'll have a really fun game.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping. I know it'll be fun, and it'll be great to just get the armies on camera, and then whatever happens after that happens.
Okay.
And then
you're gonna bring all the setup then to sci-fi, or that's a lot of stuff.
I mean, I think they've got some our setup's not too bad. It'll just be bringing my camera gear and stuff like that, so it'll be good.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and then they have some nice terrain to it. Sci-fi is always memorable because that's where me and Chris play like every other day or every other week.
Yeah.
It's so to go places beside mini duels.
Yep.
It's our second Space Force base.
Nice.
well, then after that, we got to get you on the show too. Doing a battle report.
Oh yeah, you're right. I guess we're playing some more games. I guess whenever you're.
Yeah.
Whenever you finish off, Chris.
All right. We'll finish out. Yeah. Let me brush Chris aside, and then you bring that Slanesh army, and let's see what happens.
What army do you want to play? I'll bring out all the stuff you want.
All right. The worst list you can put together. How about that?
Well, hey, I really want to play my Seraphon. It's one of my first army that I painted. It's also one of the actual armies that actually painted like with the amount of time and care that I'm supposed to paint my armies with. Mm-hmm. And I really want to bust up my Dreadsaurian one of these days. That's
all right. Yeah,
I always love it when I can play it.
Yeah, I think we got to do it.
Yeah, if you've got stuff you really want to show off for the camera too, show off your painting talent. That's a great idea.
Definitely, thank you. Yeah. I'm gonna say I'm not as good as the other painters, but it's like I paint fast.
Yeah,
that's my best skills.
So speaking of painting talent, are you still doing your commission painting stuff?
I do. So mini marketing stuff, people.
Yeah.
I have my own channel. I have own miniature page painting. It's called Magnus Miniatures, and I don't know what it means essentially, but I think it looks cool. My brother did design logo for me, but essentially, I guess what my goal is I don't really charge as much as other painters because obviously I'm not a professional painter, but my goal is to have everyone's army painted. So my whole deal is I paint at the like a low cost budget price as fast as I could. I'm obviously I have a full-time job, but I try to accommodate people's painting. Typically, most of my clients were trying to rush up before tournaments. So my goal really is to have their army fully painted before a tournament, and then they would actually get the whole scores for their painting, and still look really good. And then that's actually, I guess, part of my goals doing Magnus Miniatures. And then the other funny part is it's I did Slanesh because this is funny to say, but I painted 3 keepers before I built my Slanesh. So essentially, I painted 6 keepers back to back, and then that's how I got inspired with my Slanesh, essentially.
Yeah, so you've definitely had your practice on keepers.
Yep, I did. I painted 3 of them before. I spent weeks trying to figure out what color or like what color schemes that I want to have, and essentially, that 3 keepers are basically not really a copy paste. I don't know if you've seen my keepers yet, but all of them are converted. But the color scheme kind of matched up with what I painted with my commissional painting. Yeah. So yeah, check it out. I have an Instagram page. Sometimes I would open up my Facebook, but not as much. I do mostly on Instagram.
Okay.
And most people just message me directly, and then we just go usually from there.
So it's Magnus Miniatures on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Is there any other way you want people to get a hold of you if they have any questions or if they want to try to find you to play some games?
Typically just give out, name cards, hand cards, something like that. But it's you can reach me anywhere. You can message me on Facebook since, you know my name. I'm William Soehaili, William Frederick. And Magnus Miniatures, you can Instagram, direct message me, and then I'll reply as soon as possible. Some people prefer email. I put my emails there too. And then, you can always reach me on my phone number. I put my phone number there too. So it's anyway your preferred method is. I had some guy actually find me through eBay. He actually found my stores, and he was like, hey, were you actually Magnus Miniatures? I was like, yeah, I do. And then he was like, can I buy this model and make you paint it for me? And then I was like, sure, why not? It's any other, chances you can contact me. I'm always open and always there.
Awesome. That's great. I think it's really cool.
Thank you.
I feel like I need to put in an order. I got lots of pain.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. I think I did drop some cards on, I think CCG2. I think I put in one of my naming cards, something like that. Some people, I think, from Warhammer Winter Park actually handed out some of my business cards for them. So hopefully,
nice.
I'll get some games and stuff like that. But, people typically have their own favorite painters and stuff like that. It's a little hard before I actually met the person. But, once you met me, I hope you like me, and then hopefully you'll give me some commission painted.
So what's the win ratio? Like when people get models painted by you, does their win ratio increase? Do they does it get better?
Well, I do wish they do win every time I painted them, but I should figure that out actually. But
well, let's just say it's good. Let's just say when they get models painted by you, their win ratio is good.
I hope it doubles up, right?
Yeah.
They're at least going to get their paint scores.
I know the guy that I painted before in the 40K, and he won that tournament. So hopefully that's a good blessing for me.
Yeah.
But it's various. I mean, I would say it's different people and stuff like that. I would say like the majority of the stuff that I painted last year was like all 40K. It's a majority. I like to say to people is I love painting like big models. So I really love painting like centerpiece models. So a lot of people that, like they like to paint the miniature, like the small infantry dudes. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that you can get it for cheap anywhere else. But, with the big models, they told me it's like, hey, you charge pretty, it's a reasonable price at the bigger centerpiece model. And I could get to paint them really fast. So that's usually what I paint for them. And the centerpiece models aren't necessarily always the competitive one. So I would say a lot of the stuff that I painted never really gets played. Well, hopefully, if they play Sigmar, I can crush them in the tournament. So,
well, that's totally awesome.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's been great having you on. Thanks for coming back on the show again. And congratulations.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, good job. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, seriously, congratulations. Thanks for bringing it home to Orlando.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I have you seen the trophy?
I saw the picture, and I'm going to make sure I post the picture and share it. We'll have it links to it.
I really hope they did a better job of doing the trophy. If you look at it from close, it looks pretty beat up. I was close to actually recasting the trophy and made it my own.
Did you really? Or you're thinking about it?
Yeah, because I was thinking about it. Do you have anyone who does 3D printing?
I know some people that might be able to help you.
Yeah, I asked them, and they're like, "Well, we don't do the design." I was just trying to find someone who can just make a copy of it and just redo it, because it's just. I think when GW gave it's like it's not really a resin, but it's more like a not a polystyrene either. It's really sticky, and then I know when they send it's unpainted, so I mean obviously they don't really have much time painting it, so it's just really spray painted gold with some plate on it, and I really wish it looked a little better, but that's why I wanted to try to recast it and do it again.
Yeah, I'm sure. Let's put out the call. Anybody who's listening to this that knows how to help us recreate this trophy, please get in touch.
Recast my trophy. Maybe I can make a second one for my last year tournament.
Yeah. Nice. Should have won.
I was serious on that, by the way. Last year when I didn't win, I was like, oh, maybe I should make my own trophy, and then.
maybe you should have found someone to commission to paint your army for you.
Oh man, that'll be ace. I'll be waiting.
Awesome, man. Thank you again.
Anytime. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, and we're
really
gonna
have fun talking to you guys.
Yeah, and we're definitely gonna get a game in soon.
Yes.
Yep, definitely. Let me know.
What did the Slaanesh players say when they just won the Nova Open?
I don't know actually.
Well, they
see, I'm not really considered a Slaanesh players, but considering I never really played them in actual tournaments, and I started picking up 3 weeks ago.
How about what would an orc say when they just won the Nova Open? Great.
Well, Slaanesh is probably more. All the titties.
This has been an episode of WARlando. If you want to get a hold of us, you can find me, Adam, as WARlando77 on Twitter and WARlando on Instagram. WARlando Mark is WARlando Mark on Twitter and Instagram, and Nicholas is WARlando Nicholas on Twitter and Instagram. If you're enjoying the show, consider going and buying a t-shirt at Teespring, or go over to Ko-Fi, where you can buy us a coffee, or better yet, a beer. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know what you want us to talk about, or what else we could be doing to entertain you. Thanks a lot for listening.